Recent floods in Germany have shaken up campaigns for the national elections. With less than 2 months to go, the disaster that hit western parts of the country has not only brought climate policies to the forefront, but also top candidates' leadership qualities. As Sibel Karkus reports from Berlin, it's not the first time floodings have been decisive in German elections.
Flooded streets, homes in ruins, and politicians in rubber boots. Villages devastated by Germany's worst flooding in decades have become important stops on the campaign trail ahead of national elections.
We will not leave the counties and those affected alone, but will help as a state to cope with this crisis in solidarity and to manage the consequences of this catastrophe.
For Armin Laschet, the Christian Democrats' choice to replace Angela Merkel as Chancellor in September, one of those consequences is an image problem that's urgently in need of damage control. Laschet was caught giggling on camera in the midst of the catastrophe. And despite calls for stricter climate protection laws, he said one disaster was not enough to change politics. Missteps that could cost him decisive votes, experts agree.
Laschet is known for his political faux pas, and there is a lot of skepticism towards his leadership after the laughing episode. The German national psyche suggests that a leader comes across as sober and humble at these kinds of events.
The ruling Conservatives are already facing criticism for ignoring early warnings of heavy rainfall and for insufficient climate action.
Climate protection is not just an environmental issue. It means politics for the future and economy. And whoever hasn't understood that climate neutrality is the future task is threatening our future.
Annalena Baerbock, the Green Party's lead candidate, cut short her holidays to visit stricken areas too. Yet Germany's first climate party is struggling to make gains from the natural disaster. Since the floods 2 weeks ago, approval ratings for both Laschet and Baerbock have dropped to a low ebb, according to recent polls. Germany's finance minister and Social Democrat candidate Olaf Scholz has benefited. While the CDU remains on top of polls as a party, its lead over the Greens has been narrowing since the disaster. And as previous experience shows, floods in Germany do have the power to wash candidates into or out of the chancellery. In 2002, then-Chancellor Gerhard Schröder waded through mud when the Elbe River burst its banks, a photo op his opponent missed and that helped him win re-election. This year, candidates have been unconvincing crisis managers, with the floods not only exposing the government's weakness in disaster response, but candidates too. Sibel Karkus, TRT World, Berlin.